What's up, traders? Welcome back to another video. Today I am tackling something that I know if you're watching this video you've experienced. You have 2 or 3 instruments that have given you the same setup, but you are not sure which is your best tradable setup. And most of the time you find yourself that you go with the first instrument that has given you the setup, a setup, not even the best setup. Most of the time you find that you go with the first instrument that gives you the setup that you usually look for. But there are levels to this setup. There are setups which are, well, let's say 50% or 60% efficient. There are those that are even 90%, and those are the best tradable setup. So today I am going to show you how I discern and label if I have 2 or 3 setups that are similar, which one am I going to choose and why. So first of all, let's start with gold. So yesterday there were 2 setups, and I want to show you how you can use this strategy to your advantage. So gold and Nasdaq gave me the same setup that I was looking for, but you always want to take the best setup. Now the process is the same. I come into the market and plot the high and the low of the day before 8 p.m. Now always, and I will always say this, the first hour of the New York session, or in any session, sets the high and the low of that session. So let us see how this setup evolved. So this is the first hour high and low. So I'm expecting, if we are at the low, I'm looking for a buy setup. If we are at the high, I am looking for a sell setup. Okay, now, and all this comes after 9:30. Now, unless we are at the high or at the low, that is when the setup forms near the high, well, that is a setup that, let's say it's medium. But if it's at the high, especially just above the high, on top of round numbers, or these levels that I've drawn, to me that is the best probable setup. So I am telling myself, if we are not at the high or at the low, then I am not looking at that instrument. So gold after 9:30 formed a nice setup below, but me, I am trading pump and dumps, dump and pumps, and when you see this is a creeping trend down, so I am expecting they will clear all this money. But did they give me the setup? Well, they came and broke structure, as you can see, but they never gave me an engulfment. Well, a reasonable engulfment, and I want to trade here. If the engulfment is not at the low, then there's no way that is a good trade for me, because, well, this trade is going to exhaust itself up here, and if you go and buy up here, then you're going to be stopped out. So for me, a buy setup did not form, but we went to the high. This is a peak formation, so we are at the high again. So we might be setting up for a sell setup at the high. As you can see, we are at the upper 25 pip box at the high. Now, as you can see, the market came down, and then broke structure. They broke structure here. Also check, they have moved 1, 2, 3, and this is a pump. Now when you see these things, you start to see these things. So it's a pump up. Then they break structure. They retest and give me an engulfment at 10.21. So you see, this is a short trade. If you want 50 pips, it's a very nice short trade for a 50 pip move, as you can see. Now it's a nice setup, but for me, this is not my best tradable setup. Although it is a textbook setup, it is not my best tradable setup. Why? Because, well, if you look at the other instrument, let me show you now the difference. Let's go to Nasdaq. So the process is the same, the high and the low of the day, and then the first hour sets the high of the day and the low of the day. Now, we came down at 9:30, but there was no setup for me. They came, we had that M structure, we broke structure, but there was no engulfment. There was no engulfment. But as you can see, we came to the high of the session, and we had a nice head and shoulders. For me, this is a head and shoulders, but as you can see also, they came. This is a nice setup. Oh my goodness, this is a nice setup. Just look at 1, 2, 3 to the high. First of all, 3 pushes. Then we are at the high. We have 1, 2, 3. It tried. This is a head and shoulders pattern. Like, damn, this is a clear head and shoulders pattern. But there was no engulfment for me. There was no engulfment. But we broke structure. Just look here. We broke structure there. We broke structure and then retest. But this was the 10.19. That was the engulfment. After breaking structure. 1, 2, 3. I'm in. Now, this is my best setup. Reason? Because we are at the high of the day. We have triggered other traders. People who are waiting for longs at the high of the session. We've triggered them and then boom, escaped. Now, for me, this is my best setup because, well, you see, your best setup is the one that is going to give you money consistently. That is not going to give you a lot of pressure, a lot of headache. That is not going to give you any doubts. When you are in, you have nothing to worry about. As you can see, you have nothing to worry about this setup. But for gold, you might worry because, let me show you. Because you know that we've not triggered the high of the session. So it might give you this setup, but you are not sure if they will continue higher to trigger the money, because this is where the money is. But Nasdaq, we have already cleared the money. So there is no possible reason to go back. There is no possible reason to go back. So if there is no reason to go back, there is no money. There is no money. We've cleared all the money. So the next logical thing is to go down. And look at that. Just 1, 2, 3. 3 minutes. 3 minutes, yeah, 3 minutes, and you're out. So this is how I grade my setups. If they are near the high, then that is a setup that I will enter. But if there is no other setup, then that is the setup I am going with. But if I have multiple choices, then I am going with my best tradable setup. That is at the high of the day, high of the week, high of the session. But we are at the high, selling at the high, buying at the low. Selling high, buying low. Okay? So hopefully you got value from today's video. Stay disciplined, stay focused, always learn every day, because every single trade is unique. So hopefully you got value. Subscribe, like, comment. Yeah, see you in the next video.